Her iPhone vibrated inside her bag. Inside her bag. Ugh. But she ignored it. She was in no mood for pleasantries of any kind from anyone. Desdemona made the drive to the large national chain bookstore on the corner. She snagged a tight parking spot around the corner and strode up the street to enter this 2-story building. She came to a stop at the large display of hardcover books right near the front of the store. There was a life-size cutout of him in a black basketball gear, with his tattoo covered, muscled arms exposed as he wore the sneakers named after him. Numerous championship rings on his fingers. A cocky smile on his lean and angular, handsome face. Her heart hammered as she moved through the crowd surrounding the display to grab a copy of the book. "Listen to this part, Madge," an elderly woman's voice said. "When Angel saw me naked for the first time, her eyes were big and she what?" Madge asked. "What did she do?" I looked at his stick and told him it was too big. Desdemona clutched the book and eased through the crowd to reach the long line. Nearly everyone had a copy of the book, and some had numerous copies. Like all of his endeavors, the book would be a roaring success. "Damn," she mouthed, raising her hand to pinch the bridge of her nose. It had been a long time since she'd been called Angel, an alias known only by her tricks and jaunts. Things she had long since forgotten came rushing back to her, causing anxiety, racing pulse, nervous stomach, old pains felt searing, buried secrets fighting to the surface. She winced as she thought of Majig, her brutal pimp, lying on the floor of his bedroom with a syringe in his arm as his life faded from an overdose. I let him die. After running away from a home that felt more like an emotional prison, the coming of the night had called for finding new places to seek shelter. It was in a 24-hour laundromat that she met Majig. He seduced her with his smile and pampered her with his money, before telling her she owed him back for every cent and would repay him by selling herself to men of his choosing. His physical and mental abuse of her and the other young girls he lured into his trap had no limit. Saving him would have meant choosing captivity for myself. After 3 years, she had more than enough of his shit. "Turn to page 236, a woman said with urgency. "You sure that's what they said on the radio?" another woman asked. Desdemona stiffened at the whispered voices behind her. There was no escape. His mouth is as big as his dick. Oh wow, MQ, get down like that? Desdemona was tempted but fought the urge to see just what freaky frolicking had been revealed. She knew his every delectation very well, and so it could be any number of things, including anilingus. The butt, though? So it was about the rim jobs. "He wouldn't have to pay me," one of the women said. "You be on call?" the other asked. "Whenever, wherever, and whatever." Desdemona opened the first page of the book, hoping to tune the chatty women out. "For my true love, I have nothing to hide," she mouthed as she read the dedication. This is the last hoorah for my past so that we could focus on our future. She rolled her eyes, unable to deny herself the immature act. Feeling her anger and annoyance quickly rise, Desdemona dug her wallet out of her tote and pulled out several crisp $100 bills as she stepped out of line and walked to the nearest open register. People behind her immediately began to protest and complain. New Yorkers would have it no other way. She held up the money. "I'm paying for my book and the books of the 11 people that were in front of me," she said loudly, setting the book and the cash on the counter as the noise ceased and the people rushed to stand in line behind her. A few offered thanks, most did not. Desdemona didn't care either way. She just wanted out of the bookstore as soon as possible, ASAP. The cashier rang her up quickly and slid the book into a paper bag. "And keep any change," Desdemona told the young woman, before taking the bag and taking long strides to leave the store. The winter winds whipped around her and she stood still, seeking calm, as anxiety rose again. And for a brief moment she was able to block out the familiar noises of the city. Thoughts of Marquise M.Q. Sanders' tell-all book and her desire to wring his fucking neck. "Hey, Desi." Desdemona opened her eyes and turned on the street with a smile for her friend and neighbor. Melissa Colbert was crossing the street with her fawn-colored French bulldog trotting at her feet. The petite 30-something Samoan beauty was the first friend Desdemona had dared to have, ever. "Hello. You off today?" Desdemona asked, knowing the advertising executive was dedicated to her profession and had been rewarded with a quick ascension up the ranks to vice president at the Manhattan firm where she worked. "I wish. My dog Walker couldn't make it today, so I came home for an early lunch to walk Frenchie, Melissa said, holding up the leash. "What about you? What are you up to today? You going to your showroom for your online boutique?" "Classes start tomorrow, so I'm just relaxing," she said, thankful as she realized Melissa was the first person she'd encountered who wasn't enthralled by Marquise's autobiography. "And?" Melissa said as Frenchie trotted around her feet. Desdemona arched a brow. "And? Your major? Where are you with that?" Melissa asked before stooping to stroke Frenchie's shiny coat. Desdemona released a breath. "Nothing yet," she admitted, knowing it was a choice she would have to make, and soon, to ensure none of her time, credits, or money were wasted on classes that might not count toward her major. "Not even a business degree?" Melissa asked. "It could help you grow your boutique." Desdemona gave her a soft smile and shook her head. "I thought about it, but that's not my purpose, and I want to align my education with my purpose," she said. "That's the only thing I do know." "Meet with your academic advisor," Melissa suggested before letting Frenchie lead her by the leash down the street toward the dog park. She looked back over her shoulder. "Let's plan dinner for the weekend. Benji will be back in town tonight." "Will do," Desdemona agreed before making her way down the snow-lined street to her vehicle. After starting the ignition, Desdemona sat and stared into the distance, remembering being teased in high school when rumors of her being a prostitute had reached her last safe place. And she had wanted so badly to graduate one day. Shame and ridicule had snatched that from her.